welcome to day 2 of Polarity. Let me know as you are joining. Let me know if you are watching the replay. Pop hashtag replay so I know that you are here. Just trying to get my camera set up a little better and so my ring light doesn't fall over. Okay, so I'll just wait for some people to hop on live and then we will make a start on day 2. So let me know if you are here, say hi. Just going to bring up the live on my laptop because yesterday it didn't show me any comments on my phone, and then we will get started. So say hi as you are joining. Let me know where in the world you are joining from, and then we can dive in with day 2 of Polarity. Seeing you all dropping in. Hi Mandy, you are coming from Portland, Oregon, USA. We've got Kim, we've got Jill. We've got Sarah, we've got Jill coming in from South Wales. Hello, hello. Amazing, thank you for being here with me. We've got Carol, I can see Carol has dropped in. Carol's from my soul home in Scotland. We've got Sarah Louisa, hi. So many of you from yesterday, and we've got some new faces. And as I shared yesterday, what I absolutely love about this space and just feel so incredibly blessed is that many of you have been in my world for many, many years. Some of you are in Quantum Queen membership, you've been in my Cosmic Coach programs, like you know how valuable this space is, and you're here and joining this free training as well. So I absolutely love this. So hello to you if you've been in my world for a while, or if you are new to my world. I did a little bit of an intro about me and my journey in day 1. We have got, so Kim is joining us from Cape Town, South Africa, beautiful. We've got Alex from Evesham as well. Lovely to have you all here. So what we are going to do today is some Q&A and a polarity activation. So this is your opportunity to ask me anything on the content from yesterday. I already have some questions written down as well that were asked yesterday, which as promised I said I would go deeper on. And then we're going to go into an activation to connect you into polarities within you, balancing those within you, and aligning you back to that point of that 0 point really of your soul. Okay, so before we do that, before we dive into questions, as I said yesterday, I always love to start with your compass, your vision for where you're headed. And for some of you this is a feeling, for some of you it is so simple. It is simply a feeling, right? And you know this feeling. This feeling transcends everything. It is a feeling of absolute connection to the divine. It is like the God zone. Let me know in comments, like we talked about this yesterday, the God zone, where you're just in complete flow. You're completely connected to God, the divine. You're just in flow. Opportunities are presenting themselves to you. You're listening to your body. Everything is just flowing, okay? So remember that some of you are like super visual, and you see things, like you see your vision, you see who you're meant to be working with, you know, you see things visually. Some of you see things in the energetics, right? Some of you will actually see the energetics, and that is your gift. And you are here to, Vicky says, you couldn't find me. Oh no, right, let me tag everyone in. I didn't do this yesterday. That's what I should have done yesterday, is tag everyone in. So some of you see things in the energetics, some of you see things in terms of the vision, and for some of you it is just a feeling. So this is super simple. The super simple thing is that what feels good, what feels expansive for you is right, and that is your body truth, that is your yes. And what feels constricted anxious, right? And there is a difference between this and I wasn't going to talk about this today, but we're going deeper into it and then we're going to talk about the questions. There is a difference between something being an expansion and an up level and your nervous system freaking out about that up level, or perhaps some energy that's come in, like you're about to have an up level and then this energy comes in, like it's something that we need to clear. So there's also that there is a difference between like energy that needs clearing, an upper limit problem in your body where you are feeling like a nervous system dysregulation, and something that is not meant for you. Okay, so there is a big difference. Let me know if you feel this in comments. There is a difference between like, I know this is meant for me and my nervous system might have those moments of dysregulation. I need to move through it. I know this is meant for me and there's some energy coming up to clear off. This might be energies that have been like attached to you for a while, and now you've had this up level, like they're coming up to the surface to be cleared as we come towards the end of this season of shedding. Okay, but you know what it is and where you're headed, and this is a feeling. So I wrote down some of the things that you said yesterday because I wanted to just tune in with those feelings for you now as your compass and anchor these in for you. So if there's other things, other feelings coming up as I say these, I want you to put these in comments. And remember, Mandy, you're not sure how to know the difference. Okay, I'm going to answer that question. We're going to come on to that first in a moment, okay? So as I'm reading out these words for the things that you put yesterday to describe your big vision and how that feels, I want you to feel these and to add your own ones, add your own feelings into this, because we're going to be working with these in the activation today. And remember, the quantum field responds to your frequency over all else. Okay, so it is so simple. All we have to do is to find ways to feel these feelings, and that puts you in alignment with that timeline. Okay, and it might be we have to clear energy and then we can access the feeling. It might be there's some nervous system dysregulation. We might have to do some somatic practices. We might have to do breath work that we do every 6 weeks in Quantum Queen, like do that, release that, and then like this feeling is like easy to access. Okay, and the work that we've been doing on these polarities throughout these 2 days, this is going to help you to bring this in as well. This is true emotional mastery, because these feelings is that frequency of your soul's vision of your mission of where you're headed. Okay, so let's tune into these now, and I want you to add any more coming through for you in comments. So yesterday we had peace, joy, fulfillment, alignment, bliss, harmony, freedom, passion, excitement. I'm going to say those again. I want you to feel those in your body. Feel how they feel. Peace, joy, fulfillment, alignment, bliss, harmony, freedom, passion, excitement. And pop any more in comments. What for you, what feelings for you make you feel like you're in complete and utter alignment? You're in that God zone. You are connected to God, to the divine. You're just in complete flow. You're just following that guidance. You're away from the push, the hustle, the space where the noise is louder than your inner voice. Like when you're in this absolute space of the God zone, that inner voice is loud, that body truth is loud, okay? And you can listen to that over all others. So starting with that, remembering that feeling is your frequency. That feeling is your frequency. And this is where we can come into the space of somatics, which we're going to do in the activation today, because if we can access that feeling in the body, we might notice other feelings in the body. We might notice trauma coming up to release in the body. And this is the other thing about the polarities, is it doesn't have to be one or the other. We don't have to end up on this massive pendulum swing. It can be totally okay to be like, I've got the vision, I know where I'm headed, I'm taking the action, That feels a little bit dysregulating. Okay, I need to do some regulation, and then I move anyway. I hold it and I move anyway. So we've got some more coming through in the comments. Freedom and ease, creativity, synchronicity, serendipity, happiness. Nothing outside of me matters. That's it, Jill, isn't it? True inner authority. You are the authority. Your body is the compass. Peace, home. Yes, home. Yeah, home. Okay. So let's come on to some questions. Now we've set the anchor point, we've set the vision, and think of this in terms of that fire horse energy that's coming in. These feelings for you, are you holding the reins of the horse? Okay, this energy is coming in this year, whether we like it or not. It has come in big in these solar flares this week. Let me know if you've been feeling these solar flares. Like 3 days coming up to them, I was feeling sick. I was feeling headachy. I was like, all these symptoms were coming out in me, and I was like, what is going on? Like, am I coming down with something? Am I unwell? And then the aurora hit, and I was like, oh, hang on a moment, it's solar. I knew there was something going on. It's the solar energies. And then the last couple of days of this started to grind down, and I've started to grind these down. I've literally got my feet on my grounding mat right now. I felt it settle, and I felt this timeline shift happen over the last couple of days, which is exactly why I ran Polarity at this moment in time. And this is exactly why we're doing a group quantum healing session next week in Quantum Queen to clear any energies that have come up. Okay, this is all like divinely timed for that reason. Mandy says, feeling your energy expand. That is it. Yeah, what feels expansive? Yeah, totally. Sarah Louisa, it's been beyond intense. Yeah. Vicky, your whole family have been having lucid dreams. Jill says, do we need reins as we are riding tackles? What do you mean by that? Please expand on that. So it's like we're setting this compass direction with the feelings, and then we can allow the energy. Kim says it's been absolutely intense. Yeah, have you been having aurora down there as well, Kim? You're pretty south, or you might get the southern ones come up to you. Sarah Louisa, you feel like you've come back to life over the past couple of days? Yeah, definitely, me too. It's like as it's grounded down, it's like we're starting to then integrate this energy and like dip our toes and work out how we're going to use it. Okay, so we've set the compass direction in place. We've got the feelings. So let's come on to the questions, and then we're going to come back to the feelings. So I'm going to answer Mandy's question first. Because you're here, you've had it as well, Kim. Amazing, wow. Yeah, I'm going to answer Mandy's comment because Mandy, you're here with us live. Then I've got some questions from Sarah O from yesterday that I'll come on to. And then after that, I'll ask you to start sharing your questions. Please don't share them yet because it'll come down the screen. I'll lose it. And then there's a chance that I could miss it. So Vicky, you only get into flow when you're dancing, singing or painting. Amazing. Not work. Okay, interesting. So is there a way for you to bring that into your work? Is there a way that flow can become work so that you become paid for flow? Okay, that's like the soul alignment piece, right? Jill, no saddle or bridle. Okay, so we don't have reins because, we're riding tackless. Is that what it's meant to say? Yeah, we're riding tackless. So yeah, Jill, you always expand my brain. Yeah, we don't have a saddle or bridle. Well, maybe we can choose to. Maybe we can set the compass direction for the horse, metaphorically, in our energetics. Okay, so let's come on to Mandy's question, which was knowing the difference. Okay, so this was knowing the difference between something that is expansive, something that is meant for you, something that is a yes in your body, versus something that is a no, and how to know the difference between it's an expansive yes and there's some like upper limit stuff going on and some nervous system stuff around expansion going on, versus what is definitely a no. Okay, so one of the best things that you can do around this is to feel into feel into the outcome of that thing. So here's a real example of this, okay? Here's a real example of this. When I was invited to do a TEDx. So when I felt into standing on that stage doing a TEDx, I felt panicked, I felt anxious, I felt like, how on earth am I going to have the confidence to get on that stage? When I fell into that TEDx being on YouTube, me being able to get my message out to that many people, me being able to have a global stage, and me being able to tap into my mission and purpose, which was to help awaken more people to their authentic truth, that felt expansive, that felt amazing. Did that feel dysregulating for my nervous system? Yes. Was there a bit of an upper limit problem going on in my body? Yes. And also at the same time, I mean, I now have really aligned people around me, but at that moment in time I didn't, and lots of people were saying, really? Like, you have a lot of anxiety, are you sure you want to do that? So there was a lot of voices around me that I had to drown out, and I was able to drown that out because I knew that was leading me towards where I wanted to be. And the feelings that I had about being able to achieve that mission of helping people ultimately be the best versions of themselves, the fact that I was going to get on a global stage and be able to impact people across the world, it felt expansive, it felt aligned, okay? So if you can tap into the outcome of that thing and see that that is in alignment with like your values, your mission and who you are, and that will feel expansive, then you will know that is meant for you. So the bigger picture of expansion is like, and also the expansion, right? That's the question. Does this thing lead to expansion or does it lead to constriction? That's also a question that we can consider. If it leads to expansion, then it likely is for us. If it leads to expansion and it's in alignment with our values and who we are at our core, then it's meant for us, okay? So for me, back to that TEDx example, I have been obsessed with personal development since I was 16 and I started to study psychology at A-level. I have been obsessed with the brain. That has been my special interest, is being the best versions of ourselves. Psychology, the quantum field, magic that goes beyond the science and the quantum, right? The magic that exists, like manifestation, science, blending the spiritual and science, has been my special interest. So to sense check with who I am, it was like, okay, do I feel nervous and dysregulated about getting on that stage? Yes, I do. Was I nervous and dysregulated on the day? Yes, I was. But, you know, I was doing somatic practices to keep bringing myself back. And then there's this bigger picture of expansion, because this links to that expansion of helping people be the best versions of themselves to achieve brilliant things in their lives. Like, that is what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about helping you align to your most magical, authentic, abundant, aligned life. So that was like my sense check, okay? So you will feel expansive when you think about the bigger picture, when you reflect on that bigger picture and the outcome of doing that thing. If you reflect on the bigger picture of that thing or the data over time, this is another thing you can do, right? And I can be a little bit like scientifically minded with this and say, what does the data tell me? So I've had situations, so recently, as a shared little example or story with you yesterday, when I've cut somebody out who wasn't in alignment for me, and we can say, what's the data telling us? So when I looked back at all the interactions with that person, that felt so constricted. It felt so small. It was like they were trying to keep me small, trying to shut me down, being very triggered by me and kind of pushing energy back. When I thought about that and I looked at that data over time, I could not see any interaction that ever felt expansive. I could not see that that person ever had my best interests at heart. So my data over time told me this whole situation is a no for me, okay? So you can use energetic, emotional data, use your feelings as data to also help you to understand that, okay? Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? So the big picture, the data over time, does that feel expanded or does that feel constricted? Basically, if it's meant for you, it will feel light. if it's not meant for you, it will feel heavy. And of course, caveat to this is that when we have these up levels, energy can come in to clear, especially when we've been on those like imbalanced sides of the seesaw, or the pendulum swing, which we talked about yesterday. There can be energy and entities that have been feeding off this imbalanced seesaw that come up to be cleared, and we might just be feeling those energies because we need to clear them. But when we feel into that big picture, and the outcome of that feels expansive. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. I'll come on to Sarah's questions, and everyone else start getting your questions ready to hop in a moment. Okay, so the first question that Sarah O asked was, is boundaries healthy ego? This was a great question, and we talked yesterday about the ego empathy dynamic, right? The ego empathy spectrum. And this has to be like the top, if not the number one thing that I see holding women in particular back, is suppressed ego. So the answer to this question is yes, but I just wanted to go a little bit deeper into this. That if your default reaction is always empathy, compassion, and overgiving to point of depletion, or your cup emptying, then this is absolutely, when you step into that healthy ego, this is where things like boundaries can come in. Okay, boundaries, saying no, being healthy, selfish, right? Self-care, self-devotion, only operating, only giving from that space of your cup being full. Okay, the cup, remember, the cup overflows into the saucer, and it is the saucer that you then give in a big way and give back to the world. Okay, you give that in a big way. And I used to have this wrong, and this used to be so programmed in me from society, from what I saw my own mother do, from religion. Like, this used to be so programmed into me that it's all about sacrifice. And you give from an empty cup, and then you're somehow worthy and God loves you because you've made all these sacrifices. But it's actually not. It's never meant to be that way. And the quantum field doesn't work in that way. The quantum field operates at that level of wholeness. So if you're carrying any lack in your field, whether this is like not taking care of your needs, like I'm literally going to pour myself some water as I'm saying this, right? You're thirsty, you need to have a drink. You're cold, you need to put a jumper on. You're tired, you need to have a nap, go to sleep. You're hungry, you need to eat, okay? This even comes into basic needs. And then we then take this with self-devotion to the next level, okay? So your first sense check with this is, and I can't remember where we got to with the boundaries and ego, I've kind of gone off on a tangent, but basically just sense check with, am I taking care of my basic needs? If I am, even going to the toilet, when we need to go to the toilet, how many of you do that thing when you think, I need to go for a wee, I'll go in a minute, okay? You need to go when your body signals you to go, because this builds self-trust with the body. And through doing that, okay, this is that self-devotional piece, and this is that healthy ego. And once you embody that healthy side of the ego, this is when you'll start to see that unhealthy side in your external environment. That will start to disappear, that will start to shift, that will start to change, because you're embodying the default opposite of what you normally do, okay? So is boundaries healthy ego? Yes, I just wanted to go deeper into that. Okay, listening to my needs. Okay, so the next question that Sarah O popped in was, if others not doing what they say feels unacceptable. So this was when in the pre-work, I asked you, what traits in others do you see as unacceptable? Okay, so Sarah says, this means I go too far the opposite, and this means, will this mean I'll enable people until I can pull back? So yes, in this dynamic, so this is similar to the example I shared with you yesterday, where I was navigating this dynamic that's been going on for years. So yes, with this particular dynamic, if you are finding the people around you are not doing what they say they will do, they're not true to their word, and your value is that you are true to your word. One caveat here is, what I will say is that it might simply be that these people are out of alignment with your values, okay? And that is okay. And you don't have to tolerate that. Okay, so this is where that boundaries piece comes in as well. Like some people, and this is where we project our values onto others, which is how the polarity piece can come up for us as well. We project our values onto others. I always stay true to my word, so I expect you to stay true to your word. Then when you don't stay true to your word, I make that wrong because I've projected that expectation on you. So I keep showing you that I'm true to my word to try and role model that value, and then you keep not being true to your word. Do you see how this dynamic keeps looping? So yes, when you can pull back from that dynamic and maybe even not stay true to your word with this person, like keep your values, but pull back from that dynamic, you break the pattern, you break the loop. Because right now you're holding that polarity, you're holding your value so solidly that I stay true to my word. This is how a good person, this is how a good girl behaves, right? I stay true to my word, you keep not staying true to your word. So it's like a pendulum swing, a battery. The dynamic keeps going. So as soon as you pull yourself out of that dynamic, then what likely happens, which is what happened to me in my scenario, is that person will just crumble. They'll have their crumble, their values will be highlighted to the world, they'll have some kind of karmic repercussion for that, they will be outed, they will have their crumble that they need to deal with, okay? And it's likely that loads of us are, as empaths, as sensitives, we're holding those people up energetically. So this is also why we need to do this work, because as we move through the last stages of this shedding, if we can step back and let these people go, they need to have the collapse, they need to have the crumble to actually give them the chance to heal. Because the more we are like scaffolding them up with our values, the more they don't actually have the chance to heal. Okay, so yes. And then your other question was about the polarity of, I hope that answers that, by the way. Let me know if not. Your other question was around the polarity of pain and freedom. So you said, if I give myself freedom, will that pain reduce? And this is a great question. And this feels like something to play with, something to test. And we were having this conversation in our Cosmic Coach call this morning because we were talking about having like a sacral yes energy, like knowing that there is something for you to lean into, but you can't fully lean into that or take the action on that big thing, and that sacral energy kind of gets suppressed. Okay, so in your dynamic of pain and freedom, it might be that you have like a big vision for the freedom and you want to act on that and do XYZ. You're like, you know, that is the vision, and then you feel like, I can't do that at the moment because of this pain. So the best way to kind of toe dip into that more balanced reality would be to say, what small decisions of freedom is my sacral guiding me to right now? What do I feel is a sacred yes for me right now, today, in this moment, and building that self-trust with the body and doing that. Okay, doing that thing that feels free, to like dip the toes and experiment with that and see what happens. And the other thing kind of coming through here is about holding both. Okay, so when we balance that polarity, we also want to hold both, which we're going to do in the activation in a moment. Can you allow yourself to hold pain and freedom at the same time? Because what we start to find is when we allow all of these parts of ourselves at the same time and we have acceptance of them, they start to go away. Okay, so what I'm hearing in yours is like the pain is very, very conscious, very much in your awareness right now. You know the freedom is there. What are the small steps you can take on the freedom? And can you allow yourself to be like, okay, we're feeling the pain right now and we're going to move towards that freedom as well. I'm going to allow both those parts to be present. And then we usually find that charge reduces. And you might just find by working with the pain in that way, by welcoming the pain and going like, why are you here? Why might I desire you to be here? You know, you're obviously here for a reason. What are you trying to tell me? And almost see it as like a a child and give that love, that's when things will start to shift and change. Okay, so hopefully that answers that question. So I'm just catching up on comments. So now is your time to pop, anyone here live or on the replay, now is your time to pop any comments, any questions to be answered in the chat, and I will answer them or do my best to answer them. So Sarah, you said a family member quite often makes you feel contracted, but you're trying really hard to heal the relationship, but you're probably stopping this relationship when healing, when you keep trying, instead of honouring what you're feeling and setting your boundaries. Yes, this is absolutely it. This is spot on. That was that loop that I talked about in my example. I thought, I like gaslit myself. I was like, well, if I heal enough, then everything can just be neutral. No, some people are just not in alignment with your values and not in alignment with where you're at now, and that's okay. So yes, boundaries instead of trying to heal it. Yeah, spot on. Hey Issa, thanks for joining us. Vicky, you said you thought you needed to break that loop as well with boundaries with your brother and his ex-wife. Yeah, you thought you've got to break that loop instead of pleasing. That's it, absolutely spot on. Jill says we can only role model for ourselves. That's exactly it. Yeah, amazing. Vicky, that's why you had to leave your husband even though you love him. Yeah, I know, completely understand that. Yes. Okay, yeah. So Vicky, you have noticed where you noticed today, instead of taking time out for yourself and going to the spa, your friend asked for urgent help with her books, you jumped in and helped. Okay, so you noticed a pattern. So good noticing, and yeah, how could you do that differently? How could you do that differently next time? What boundaries are needed around that? And again, sometimes the question here, ladies, is why is this safe? On what level? So Vicky, for example, on what level was jumping in and helping your friend safer for you on some level? Right? Because you know, as you've said, you haven't done any walking, yoga or gone to the spa. So you know that the walking, yoga and going to the spa is much safer for you, much safer for your nervous system, much safer and healthier for your body. But on some level, jumping in and helping your friend felt safer. So sometimes we can ask that question, why is that safer? Where did that come from? Where did that pattern come from? And this can just help to shine a light on that and balance that out. Great question, Rebecca. How can we signal our nervous system that we are safe? Okay. So, firstly, somatic practices really help with this. We're going to do a little bit of somatics in today's activation. We've got quantum breath work every 6 weeks over in Quantum Queen. So doing things like breath work, somatic practices really, really help. And one of the biggest things that has really helped me and many clients on this journey is building that self-trust with the body. So if you feel guided to something that feels expansive for you, and start small, right? If you wake up and you feel like, rather than the cup of tea today, I always use this example, I know people are like, oh, Gemma's obsessed with tea. I am obsessed with tea, right? Could be worse, could be far worse things I could be obsessed with. Rather than, I'm going to wake up and have a cup of tea this morning, you might feel like it would feel so expansive to slow down and make an entire pot of tea this morning, okay? It's the embodiment of that. That signals the nervous system that it's safe. When you go and boil the kettle and pour that in the teapot, your body goes, this is just an example, obviously, there's like bigger things and smaller things. Your body goes, oh, it's safe. We followed through on that. We had our own back, that's safe, and the nervous system then knows that we can trust ourselves. And this is how, with these smaller decisions, this is how we can then build up into the bigger things. A big thing for me last year was my trip to Ibiza. Just like completely out of the blue, I was navigating some really intense things that happened with my family. There was all sorts of family drama going on. There was drama going on with the dogs we had. We don't have them anymore. There was just all this stuff going on. And I saw in a vision Ibiza castle, and everything in my body was like, get on a plane and go to Ibiza. My passport had expired. I started looking at hotels and I couldn't find anything in my budget, couldn't find any flights that were doable from my nearest airport. I was like, I just don't know if it's possible. And then I was like, it's here for a reason. This feeling's here for a reason. Keep holding the vision, keep asking what is possible. And within a few weeks, from just keep holding that vision, I got my new passport. I managed to randomly find this hotel website to access like this like hotels only discount thing. Got this amazing hotel with a balcony overlooking the sea, and some flights opened up, daytime flights, so I didn't have to drive to the airport in the dark. Daytime flights opened up and I went to Ibiza. And when I got there, it was like my body exhaled and it was like, thank you. So that was like a big thing, but sometimes it's like a cup of tea in the morning. When we do that, when we follow that, and I also didn't share that with many people. Even you ladies in Quantum Queen, you were all like, what's going on with your energy? There's like a childlike excitement and you feel so different. You're not in the UK, are you? Like the ladies are so intuitive in there. They were like, you're not in the UK, what's going on? And I was like, I'm in Ibiza. Okay, I didn't tell anyone that I was going. I just booked it and went, okay? Obviously, sometimes logistically we have to arrange, like I did have to arrange, had my cat at the time, I had to arrange care for him and things like that. But when you follow, whether this is a big or small thing, and you follow through on that, you build self-trust. And even with the small steps, like I'm thirsty, drink water, even with the small steps, you start to signal that self-trust, which starts to signal the safety. Okay? And this is where I used to push through on that and be like, well, I'm just gonna, even if this feels unsafe, I'm gonna do this thing anyway. Like even if my body was telling me something else. I used to think if I pushed enough against my body, then, you know, this whole what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's actually bullshit. The science goes against that now. What the science stacks up against is doing what feels expansive and aligned for us, using our strengths, like on a neuroscience point of view, using our strengths, doing things that bring us joy and pleasure, which is what your body truth is leading you to. The neuroscience stacks up on that is actually safety. Self-trust is what regulates the nervous system, okay? It's not pushing through what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Even the science on that does not stack up anymore. That's utter bullshit, okay? And I gaslit myself with that for many years. But the more I have made decisions from a place of safety, like what feels safe right now, and that might even be something like, I need to go to the supermarket, and I'm like, supermarket doesn't feel safe right now. Old me would say, feel the fear and do it anyway. But new me is like, how about we go to the farm shop? How about we go to the local co-op? That would feel lovely, that would feel nourishing. Okay? Hopefully that answers your question. Any other questions before we come on to the activation? Vicky, keeping her happy, like you had to keep your parents happy. Yeah, that's absolutely it, isn't it? So straight away you know that pattern, because as a child you had to keep your parents happy by responding to their demands, which probably was actually safe for you, because, you know, as that child, as that inner child, you did have to choose. So you choose survival, you choose the connection of the parent, okay? This is why these things are so deeply wired, right? Because we literally did have to choose the connection of the parent over that thing that was actually safe for us in some cases, okay? So these go deep, and it's building that self-trust and following the body, even with those small things, that helps us to embody that and step out of that and reparent ourselves around that. Okay, and this is what we're doing in the Quantum Queen membership. So, you know, this is that space to come in and get support with these things. These are the things we're going to be working through in our Quantum Identity month next month in February, and our Quantum Healing session next week. Okay, this is that space to go deeper into that. Okay, I don't think there's any more questions coming through, so we'll move on to the activation. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes and just bring yourself into your body, taking some deeper breaths. And just noticing how your body is feeling right now. Any tension, tightness, heaviness. Lightness. And just know that whatever you are feeling is right for you in this moment. There is no right or wrong, just simply awareness. And I would like you to imagine that you are standing in front of the most beautiful door you have ever seen. And just noticing the qualities, the material, the handle of this door. And behind this door is your sacred space, where we are going to shortly enter to work with your polarities, to work with the quantum field, so just tuning in with your body and just asking your body if it wants to go through this door. And if you get a no, you might want to come back to this and do this on the replay, that's okay. Or asking, if you get a no, just asking what commitment do you need from yourself for it to be safe to go through this door. So if you can make that commitment to yourself, perhaps just telling yourself that you'll hold yourself through this, or you might just get that instant yes. But only proceeding when it feels like it's a yes for you to continue. So if you're watching the replay, you want to pause this and come back to it, you can. Or if you're watching this live and you want to come back on the replay. And when you get that yes, opening that door and going into that sacred space. And through this door is your most beautiful room that you have ever seen. You can decorate this room however you like. There might be an open fire, some nature, some cozy furniture, and just go somewhere and just sit in this room and just start to absorb this beautiful energy and luxury from this space, knowing that you are so safe and divinely protected in this space. And this is the space where anything is possible. This is the space where you have access to the entirety of the quantum field, where magic is possible for you. And you just allow your body to be filled with the beautiful energy of this space. And then you notice that in this room, there is a door. And this door leads down into the basement. And there are stairs and a lift taking you down. And you start to explore this area, and you choose the lift or the stairs, whichever feels right for you. And you go down into the most beautiful, bougie, gorgeous basement that you have ever seen in your life. And there is such incredible luxury furniture in this space. And this space is dark, but it is luxurious and it feels amazing. The energy feels different down here. It feels sacred and it feels secret. It feels hidden. It feels like this is a very, very sacred, special place that only you can enter. And I'm going to invite you to settle down somewhere in this space. Somewhere that you feel cozy, comfortable and safe in this beautiful luxury. And as you settle down, I'm going to ask for your superconscious to be present right now. And your superconscious is the part of your mind that connects your subconscious into the energy. So I'm just going to ask your superconscious, are you there? And your superconscious will say yes, because your superconscious is always there. And we're going to ask this to be present. And the reason we want it to be present is because this rewires anything subconsciously that connects into the energy, that connects into the collective. We want to go this deeper layer. We want to go multidimensional with this. So we're not just looking at the subconscious and the shadows, we're also looking at that superconscious. So in this space of being held by Source, by God and this superconscious, I'm going to ask for all parts of you, all polarities, to step forward. And I want you to just see these in this basement space with you. The parts of yourself that you deemed unacceptable, that you pushed down a long time ago. The parts in others, these traits in others that you see as unacceptable. Because these too are mirrors for parts of you. These things that you think are unacceptable in others, there are healthy parts of these in you, that you have exiled these parts a long time ago. So you might see these specifically, you might see these as certain things, as shapes, as colours, as objects, or you might just simply have an awareness that you are calling fragments of yourself back to you. And just allow these to be with you in the room, allow these to speak to you. And I'm just going to stay quiet so you can tune in with these. And I want you to ask these parts, what are their gifts? What are they trying to tell you? What are they trying to integrate back into you as gifts, as power, as things that you have pushed down a long time ago? How do these parts want to be loved by you? Allowing them to speak to you however they need to. And this might be just a feeling of an energy transmission, an energy upgrade, or these might be actual specific actions that you are given. And if it feels right for you, if there are any parts that feel they want to be loved, that want to be integrated back in as part of you now, you can take these parts and you can pull them back into your body, into your field, if it feels safe for you to do so. And you might just want to have a little bit of a route around this room and pull these parts towards you, just making sure you've got all the ones that you need. There might be some that you want to just bring close to you, but not integrate in just yet, and there's some more work to be done on this. And there might be some that you want to transform into gold. So just do whatever you need to do with these parts now. There might be some parts you want to shake up, and as you shake these up and spin them around, they turn into absolute gold, into a gift, and they become integrated into you. And there might be some you just want to simply hold in your hand and observe and ask. So just doing this now, pulling any in that you feel are ready to be integrated, that are ready to be your gifts, your power. Alchemizing the ones that you need to alchemize into gold, shaking them up, spinning them round, doing whatever you need to do with them, blasting them away with energy from your hands. Perhaps some of these things are energies coming up for clearing, and they can simply be cleared, and as they are cleared, they will alchemize. And I'm also just going to ask for any energies that are not of the highest good to please leave this space. So any entities or attachments that are connected to any of these shadows, the shadow expression of these gifts to now please leave. Just allow that to clear. As that all integrates in. And you can come back to this basement room anytime you like. But for now, I want you to just bring any of those parts back with you that feel expansive, anything that you want to tap into, any actions, and just come back up the stairs or up the lift, the elevator, and back into your beautiful light sacred space. So just coming back up to that ground level. And you might notice an energetic shift. You might notice you feel lighter. And I'm going to read out those words again, and we're going to fill that space. So any space, any heaviness that we have cleared today by alchemizing these shadows, we want to fill that with those words. So fill this with these words, with this energy, and this might be like a shape or a color for you that you start to fill your body with, as we program this into your superconscious mind as well, so that you can step into your next level. So we've got peace, joy, fulfillment, alignment, bliss, harmony, freedom, passion, excitement. We've got freedom and ease, creativity, synchronicity, serendipity, happiness. Nothing outside of me matters. Peace, home, feeling my energy expand. So really luxuriate and expand in this energy. Remembering these feelings are that compass direction to where you are headed. This feeling, this sacred space is in alignment with your soul, your mission, your purpose, and what you came here to do. You came here to lead others through this as well. This is your mission, to awaken humanity. So just allowing that shape, that colour, that beautiful energy, that feeling to fill your body as you are activated, as you are integrated. And then just taking some deep breaths, just grounding down any energy into the earth that is excess. Because we don't want to stay too in the head, we want to ground that down. And then when you're ready, and only when you're ready, bringing that attention and energy back into the room, back to the screen, and opening your eyes. So I'd love for you to pop in comments some words. Just give me one word each that describe that experience for you today. And Carol's already done it. Carol says playfulness. Beautiful. So just pop some words in to let me know how that landed for you today, how that felt for you. You can come back to this practice at any point in time to revisit those spaces, to revisit those parts, and call in your superconscious to help bring this together between the neuroscience and the spiritual. And if you want to take this to the next stage, we have the incredible offer. I cannot believe that I am doing this, right? If you join Quantum Queen before Monday, this offer is open until Monday, I am going to give those of you in this space a complimentary upgrade. So if you join before Monday, you are going to get a bonus one-to-one text coaching session with me. This offer is only available to you guys until Monday. So to go deeper, to really anchor in that quantum identity so that we can work with these fire horse energies this year and anchor in that vision for you, Quantum Queen is that space for you to go deeper. So I'll pop that incredible offer in comments. There is still the chance to win prizes, so please keep sharing, adding to your stories, tagging me, supporting each other, and I will also be announcing the winners for the prizes on Monday as well. So you have until Monday for the offer, you have until Monday to win. And if anyone has any questions, please pop them in and I will come back to them. If you're watching the replay, pop your questions in and I will come back. Thank you so much for being in this space with me. I'm obviously going to keep the group open for a little bit so everyone can catch up. And if you have any questions, let me know. Lots of love.